Okay, it's 6:15 p.m. on March 9th, 1993. We have with us now in our studio in Los Angeles Ed Lawson, who is about to embark on a new mission of launching a series of summer primetime specials. Ed, why don't you tell me about those specials?
David, certainly. Delighted to be here with all of you. What we are doing is, over the course of the summer, we will pursue, through a series of primetime specials, a number of news stories that have been highly topical, that have commanded the front pages of virtually every newspaper in our nation. And we will take these news stories and pursue them in much greater detail. We're doing two basic things that are, we think, dramatically different than what you would typically see in a special, what you would typically see in the evening news. Number one, we're taking issues and we are actually going to the location, to the heart of the news story. We're breaking out of the boundaries of the traditional studio and taking the American viewer right to ground zero, no matter what risk, no matter what danger that involves. The second thing that we are doing is we are talking about broadening the envelope of who gets to be seen and heard on television. We have a concept which we call the Hatfields versus the McCoy syndrome. We take a particular news story, we go to the heart of the location, and we take the major adversaries and essentially divide them into two major audiences and give each of them an opportunity to, in the presence of the other, represent their opposing sides, whether those are two opposing sides or whether it's three opposing sides or wherever the chips happen to fall.
So in other words, that's what really makes you dramatically different from, let's say, the daytime talk shows and their formats and their hosts. I mean, I take it you're not trying to reinvent the wheel here, but you're basically taking the talk show to the people.
Well, it's a challenge. We're not chicken. We're not afraid to leave the studio. We have done two things which are, when you think about it, the obvious next chapter in reality television. One is we are going anywhere where it is electronically feasible for us to put the cameras down. And the second thing is we are bringing more people into the media family. We are talking about dividing the audience to the two diametric, the two convulsing forces which in fact make an issue a major headline, and letting those two sides of the audiences, letting the Hatfields and the McCoys actually speak directly to the American people through phone and satellite for their respective selves.
Let's talk a little bit in depth about these specials. What is the first one about?
The first thing that we're doing is something that is probably part of everyone's nightmares in the modern American landscape, and that's the gang issue. The entire American public, no matter where you live, has literally been mesmerized by the mayhem which is measured each morning on your newspaper's front page in terms of gang violence, in terms of gang plunder, in terms of gang drug problems. We will go to the heart of Southeast Los Angeles, where the Mexican Americans are in fact prevalent in the Latino gangs. We will go to the heart of Southeast Los Angeles, whether you're talking about Crip territory or you're talking about blood territory. We'll go to Oakland, where you have an extraordinary concentration of gangs. We'll go to New York, where history has been written in that particular reign of terror. But what we will do is not simply give you the opinions of a commentator who graduated from Columbia's journalism school. We'll let the gangs, each of them in their own separate turf in our audience, speak to you for themselves.
I take it you didn't graduate from Columbia's journalism school.
Well, if I get something from the alumni department, you'll know that I just said the wrong thing. But I think that's the issue. The thing that we believe is that the American public, the people who are actually at the heart of each and every news story, know more of what makes dramatic television than the same old news person with the same old news studio with the same old news makeup ad absurdum until it puts you to sleep.
Is this gang problem, I mean, do you really think people in the Peorias will be interested in this, or is this just an urban problem?
Well, the thing that we have discovered, because we've spent so much time actually in the trenches, is that gang violence and the phenomenon of gangs is no longer limited to New York, to Oakland, and to Los Angeles. We have seen over the evolution of this phenomena the chilling arm of the gang phenomena reach into not only suburban American households, but actually into the rural American home. It is an issue that has right now the ability to reach out and touch anyone. And that makes it news. And bringing you through satellite, through phone links, makes very compelling, very topical television.
Okay, I understand the compelling and the topical side of it, but the fact is, most talk shows that you see on the air, they continue to exploit, but they end before there's any kind of solution. And certainly you're not going to sit here and tell me that you're going to come up with a solution to gang problems in America in a one-time special.
Wrong, David. I am going to sit here, I am going to tell you that we're going to try to come up with a solution in what is essentially a 2-hour special. We are obliged by any sense of professionalism to do two things. One is to bring the American viewer in direct dialogue with the people who are making the news. But the second element of this is to seek solutions. We may not, in fact, resolve the problem, but we will definitely dedicate a large part of what we are doing to bring those people who believe they have solutions to the American people, to put the American people in direct interaction with the solution finders so we can all start to work towards the resolution of these problems, not simply the polemic exploitation of these problems.
I understand the second special that is proposed is a special on cults, something that is prevalent in today's headlines.
Well, more than prevalent in today's headlines, David, as you and I speak presently in what is almost a battlefield in Waco, Texas, lives have been lost, and the lives and the dreams of numerous families hang in the balance. The phenomena of the Branch Davidian cult in Waco and the standoff that is taking place at this particular moment is only the tip of the iceberg. The phenomena of cultism has spread the length and the breadth of the nation. And we feel that we have here the opportunity, because we are prepared to go directly to the source of the story, because we are prepared to take the various cults which have emerged in the most militant manifestations, put an audience segment composed of their members next to an audience segment of the various members of families who have lost people, and let the dialectic, as those two groups directly exchange ideas, at least create an environment in which both information and resolution are possible.